A new poll out today shows Republican presidential candidate Mike Huckabee in second place in Iowa, just behind Mitt Romney. It's the second survey this week to show Huckabee could be a force in the leadoff caucus state. Now his critics are pouncing even harder, questioning whether Huckabee is the true conservative in this race, as he claims is the case. Joining us now is the former Arkansas governor, Mike Huckabee. He's here in the Situation Room. Governor, thanks very much for coming in.
Happy to do it.
All right. The poll numbers are good, at least in Iowa. Not so good in other states, but in Iowa, you're doing very well. But Pat Toomey, who's been a critic of yours from the Club for Growth, which is a conservative organization, responding to what you told me Sunday on Late Edition, he put out a statement saying, on your tax record, sooner or later, Mike Huckabee is going to have to answer for his liberal tax and spend record, and humorous one-liners and half-truths won't cut it. The American people deserve honest answers, not a stand-up routine. And then he listed a whole bunch of taxes you increased while you were the governor. I'll put them up on the screen behind you if you want to take a look at that list, although I suspect you've seen that list before. First of all, is all that true? Did you increase sales tax, gas taxes, cigarette taxes, and all those other taxes, as they claim?
Well, not quite like that. In fact, the sales tax was a vote of the people. It was a constitutional amendment for conservation. The fuel taxes was a vote of the people. 80% of the people in my state voted to improve roads. Some of the taxes I did not sign. For example, the sales tax in '02 and the income surcharge, which was later repealed. And the nursing home bed tax actually was a quality assurance fee. If people will go to my website, they'll discover that it was supported by the industry and by people, because if we hadn't have done that, we would have had to have raised taxes to pay for nursing homes on the Medicaid, and it would have shut half our nursing homes down. You know, look,
why are they coming after you? What's your assessment?
I'm alive.
Why are they coming after you like this? You've got a long conservative record as the governor of Arkansas, but they're saying you raised taxes, you weren't good on a whole bunch of other issues. What's your assessment? Why is this happening?
Because I'm a threat to some folks who really want an old-fashioned establishment Republican that can be controlled by a handful of people on Wall Street. And you know what, Wolf, I can't. I'm going to be a person who is going to be conservative unapologetically. I have a record of that. I'm not a guy that's been all over the board. I've never been called a liberal. That's a new one. But at the same time,
who is that old-fashioned conservative Republican who will be controlled by Wall Street in this race?
Oh, I'm not going to throw stones at the other Republicans, because any one of us are better than the guys on the other side, and I don't want us to get into this kneecapping each other, because I think that's counterproductive.
Well, you may not want to do it, but others are beginning to do it at you. Listen to Mitt Romney, what he said on Friday on Iowa Public Television.
All right.
Listen to this.
Mike Huckabee supported, for instance, special tuition breaks to the children of illegal immigrants. Those kinds of differences, I think, make a difference.
All right, first of all, is that true? Did you support special tuition breaks to children of illegal immigrants?
No, it wasn't special tuition breaks. What I supported was that people who had been in our schools, who had met all of the academic requirements for a very specific scholarship, would be able to get the same scholarship as anybody else, because they had been in our schools, and part of it, they had to apply for citizenship. Now, what's better, having a person remain a minimum wage worker and be under subsidy, or is it better that they become a citizen, they get a college education, they become a significant taxpayer, they've shown their academic credentials, and you know what, Wolf? You don't punish the child for the crime of a parent.
Are these children who were born in the United States, if they were, they're U.S. citizens and they should get all the benefits as every citizen?
Sure.
Or were they children who came here with their illegal immigrant parents, and as a result they just went through the system?
Some would have been both. But some of them would have had to have been in our school system through their entire school career in order to qualify for the scholarships. It wasn't that if they got them, someone else didn't, because it was available to anybody. Bottom line is, this country doesn't have a history of punishing the child for the sin of the parent. Now, if that causes somebody to want to vote for someone else for president, there's plenty of other people who are, saying, let's punish children. I'm sorry, but I think that you punish the crime doer. If the parent committed the crime and came here illegally, I don't have any problem with punishing them.
So just to put a finishing touch on it, amnesty for the children of illegal immigrants would be okay for you. But you said they could apply for citizenship.
Well, here's the thing. It's not an amnesty because the child didn't commit a crime. The child didn't have, when he's 5 years old and he comes here in the back of his parents' vehicle, did he commit the crime? That would be the point to be made. But, the good news for me is, if Mitt Romney's attacking me, there's a reason. And that's because, obviously, we've moved up in some national polls that show me actually ahead of him.
Here's the number in the ARG poll. American Research Group in Iowa just came out today. Romney's at 27% in Iowa. Mike Huckabee's at 19%. Giuliani at 16%. McCain 14%. Fred Thompson down at 8%. You're doing well in Iowa.
We are doing well in Iowa, but we're doing well across the country. People want somebody who will be honest and straightforward and say the same thing today that I said yesterday and the same thing I'm going to say tomorrow.
Let me follow up on a Q&A we had Sunday on Late Edition. You said that abortion, from your perspective, was a Holocaust, right?
Yes.
So Rudy Giuliani is the only Republican presidential candidate who supports abortion rights for women. Is he participating in a Holocaust?
No, and I think Rudy would be the first to tell you that he doesn't support abortion. He just believes that it ought to be legal. He and I disagree with that in the sense that he believes we ought to accommodate that viewpoint.
But in
more
effect,
than
what you're saying is he wants at least a Holocaust to be made legal, which is abortion from your perspective.
He at least says he wants to see abortions reduced and move more toward adoption, and I appreciate that in him. I hope we can keep working on Rudy and get him to a full pro-life convert before it's all over.
If he asked you to be his running mate, would you be his running mate, knowing what his stance is on abortion?
Is, would I ask Rudy to be my running mate?
Well, let me ask you that question then. Would you ask him to be your running mate?
Well, that's why I'm working on him on his pro-life position, because I want to get him right on that issue.
So if he changed his view on abortion, you'd consider him as a running mate?
Again, let's not be presumptuous. Let me get the nomination first, and then we'll work on who I'm going to pick.
The former governor of Arkansas, Mike Huckabee, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Wolf.